But I am prepared, like others in this region, that if we cannot reach a sensible agreement on this matter, then if the cost of it is the loss of my visa to the US, then so be it.
Hi guys, welcome to yet another video. It's Ndagre here. Thanks for clicking on this video. Guys, the audacity, the entitlement Trump holds in that chair of the US is insane. Is beyond everybody. For those that don't know, apparently Trump is wanting, or actually is going to put sanctions on Caribbean countries that are willing to work with Cuban nurses or Cuban, people. And I'm like, what in the hell? It's so crazy because the US always wants to involve itself in other people's businesses. And if you look into the history of Cuba and America, Cuba pushed away American imperialism. Like, they did not want to be under America, and they did that. That is something that, the US is really threatened by when a country pushes it away, because it always wants to be in everybody's businesses. Always. But I love the energy that these Caribbean countries are giving, like the Prime Minister of Barbados. She's like, you know what? If the cost of me is to lose a visa of the US, but continue to work with my Cuban nurses and Cuban people, I'm willing to take it. I'm willing to take it, because there's no way we are going to chase away these people that have helped us and have been with us, and they've really stood with us. Like, we are not going to chase them just because the big boy of America says so. But yeah, guys, listen to what is going on and let me know what you think about it.
This matter with the Cubans and the nurses should tell us everything that we need to know. Barbados does not currently have Cuban medical staff or Cuban nurses, but I will be the first to go to the line and to tell you that we could not get through the pandemic without the Cuban nurses and the Cuban doctors. I will also be the first to tell you that we paid them the same thing that we pay Bajans, and that the notion, as was peddled not just by this government in the US, but the previous government, that we were involved in human trafficking by engaging with the Cuban nurses, was fully repudiated and rejected by us. Now, I don't believe that, but I am prepared, like others in this region, that if we cannot reach a sensible agreement on this matter, then if the cost of it is the loss of my visa to the US, then so be it. But what matters to us is principles. And I have said over and over that principles only mean something when it is inconvenient to stand by it. Now, we don't have to shout, but we can be resolute. And I therefore look forward to standing with my CARICOM brothers. I wish I could say brothers and sisters, but brothers, to be able to ensure that we explain that what the Cubans have been able to do for us, far from approximating itself to human trafficking, has been to save lives and limbs and sight for many a Caribbean person.
We rely a lot for our health care delivery on certain specialists who over the decades we have obtained from India, from the Philippines, sometimes from Africa, and mainly from Cuba. Out of the blue now we are being called human traffickers, because we hire technical people who we pay top dollar equal to local rates, but we are now being accused of taking part in the program where people are being exploited. That's somebody's interpretation. And of course, there are local people here encouraging them to take away our US visas. Today, I just came back from California. And if I never there again in my life, I will ensure that the sovereignty of Trinidad and Tobago is known to its people and respected by all.
Good morning again, my TikTok family and friends out there. So I have another little news here that I wanted to bring out, but this is for the Caribbean community, more specifically my little island of Jamaica, but it's for all Caribbean, islands or places. So it seems like Donald Trump recently announced a visa sanction against any government that's utilizing Cuba's overseas medical mission. So just for those of you guys that live here in America, so Cuba is really one of the main nation out there that help the Caribbean, whether it's Jamaica. I want to say, I don't want to misspeak, so I'm just going to speak for Jamaica now because that's what I know about. For years, Cuba would go to Jamaica with a medical team and either try to educate or, try to help with any kind of, medical technology, or even some of the doctors are there actually, working with sick citizens. So Cuba is really the nation that helps the Caribbean on any medical field, period. All right. So now Donald Trump is putting out there to all nation that works with Cuba that he's going to put sanction on the government visa. So basically, he will put restrictions on the visa, whether the government, I'm going to speak for Jamaica again. So Andrew Holness, him and his administration, maybe they won't be able to come to America, put sanction on the visa like that or not issue any new visa. I don't think it's to the citizen of Jamaica, but I'm not sure. But I know for sure it's for the government of Jamaica or other islands. I don't want to just say Jamaica. I'm just speaking to Jamaica specifically because that's what I know about, because that's where I'm from. So I know the history of, the Cubans coming and helping in the medical field. So I just want to educate you guys on what's happening there and do your own research so you guys know what Andrew Holness is doing here, because I'm not sure where the help else is going to be coming from if they ban Cuba for helping medically in Jamaica. This will be devastating for the island. Devastating. And this is very selfish of Donald. Clearly, Donald Trump does not care about black or brown people. I never thought I'd say that, but I'm going to say it right now. And words of Kanye West, even though I cannot stand that man, but right now, Donald Trump does not care about brown or black people. The idea that you're going to put sanction on visas for these nation that's getting help medically from the only place that will help them. Donald Trump, as Jamaican would say, SYM. My Jamaicans know what I'm talking about that. I'm not going to say it here to disrespect, but SYM all day, every day to you, Donald Trump and your administration. Anyway, my little islands, I'm just educating you guys. Please be aware. And also do your own research to see what your local government is doing about this, because this is you guys' health. I don't live in Jamaica. I haven't been there for years. Yes, that's where I'm from, but I haven't been there in years. So you guys take what you want to take away from this and do your research to see what your local government is doing, because it's your health. Have a blessed day.
So the U.S. is putting sanctions on any country and restrictions on any country that is working with Cuban health workers, right? Now, let me tell y'all something, okay? As of intention, right? And I know for a majority of other Caribbean countries, Cuba plays a vital part in the health of the Caribbean. Cuba has some of the best medical care, but if you didn't know, the doctors and the nurses from Cuba will actually work in other Caribbean countries. So they work at one of our centers that do like hemodialysis. That's something that we can't offer, without them. We're a small country. And even they'll perform like eye surgery, other surgeries as well for doctors or specialists that we may not have. There's a Cuban doctor that may be able to offer that, right? And I know Trinidad works with them as well, Grenada works with them as well, Dominica works with them as well. And so the US has basically said, okay, if these countries continue to work with Cuba, we're going to take away the visa of the prime ministers. So they can't come to the US or whatever. And basically, the prime minister, the PM of Barbados, shout out my girl, and the comrade, Ralph, okay? They were like, okay, well, you do what you gotta do. We're going to do what we gotta do. But we're not going to stop relations with Cuba. US is wanting to say we trafficking the people. This is a partnership. Just because you and Cuba they don't like each other, that don't have nothing to do with us. And for us, for Vincentians, like, we actually get like a couple medical scholarships a year for our students to go to medical school in Cuba. They have to like learn Spanish and stuff. But basically, I love that the Caribbean is standing up. They're like, listen, you do what you gotta do, friend, but we are not stopping relations with Cuba. So basically, Trump and them trying to threaten the Caribbean, and the Caribbean is like, you about to learn something today. And Ralph? Okay. Ralph, yes, stand on business with this. We talk about this specifically, okay? Everybody, stand on business.
Americans have the same life expectancy as Cubans. The reason why is Cuba, even with its lack of resources, even with the embargo that the United States has implemented against Cuba, even with the United States stating that Cuba is a state sponsor of terror, which prevents other countries from doing trade and business with Cuba, Cuba still has a comparable life expectancy rate to Americans because they focus most of their energy on preventative health care. They don't have the resources to treat illnesses that have progressed past a certain point. So they know that preventative health care is critical in keeping people alive in their country. In America, you ain't got health insurance, you ain't got the resources to pay for preventative care, you can kick rocks, you're on your own.
This is crazy, guys, but I'm starting to think like, people just bring documents and things to sign, and Trump just signs without using his brain, because there is no way, with everything that is going on in the US, with the US, and the chaos that he's causing, the pain that he's causing to people, pushing away everyone, he still has time to sanction countries that are not even bothering him in any way. But no, because they always want to be in people's businesses, and because they want always to be on top of the chain, like other people should just listen to what they say, what they want them to do. They still have to do that and maintain their imperialism, which is like ridiculous. And I love, like I said, the energy that these prime ministers and the people are giving to the US, because the US is not the center of attention to everything. Yes, I know you guys are going to be like, yeah, they are, but not clearly. Not everyone wants to be there. So if it's to lose visas but to still have connection with black and brown people, then we have to do that. It really shows like the government of Trump really does not want to see the progress of black people at all around the world. He's the same person that has been putting sanctions on BRICS, because African countries are now wanting to work with Russia, China, and these other countries. It's like, no, if you don't work with us, we are going to take away like medication. We are going to go away from who. We are going to refuse you from entering our country. Which, I mean, he's really doing it, but I don't think it's helping him in any way. It's just exposing the true reality of what it means to be a white leader on this planet. Like, it's always going to be in their favor. Like, they always want to be on top of everybody. But at the end of the day, people are so done and tired of this hypocrisy of the West or the Western governments, and always talking about democracy, but they are the worst at it. They invade other countries, like I say all the time. They sponsor wars in other countries, but still hide in this picture because of their media, to come and be like, yeah, we went to Africa, we went to the Caribbean, we went to these Arab nations and gave them safety, gave them, equipment to help them. But they are the same people that stir up those wars that happen in those places. It really doesn't make sense to me. They are trying to pin black people against black people, but I love that my people are globally realizing that our unity is what is threatening a lot of these people. They do not want to see black people work together, because it really kills their balance that they put up. And then when we work together, we get to communicate really and share knowledge. They do not want to see that. And you saw what the woman said. Cuban life expectancy, if it's not even better than the US, you have a problem to understand. Like, they are good with medicine, and I mean, in America, it's even harder to go and just seek medication. You have to do a lot, and you have like to put in a lot of money for you to access medication, which is not in most black nations. So it's like they're trying to control even the health of people, or how people should be like treated, which is insane. But I mean, are we surprised? Should we be surprised? That's what they are used to, always using force. Like, they still think they are still in the 70s or 20s or whatever, but the world has changed. We are in the 2000s, and we are educated now. We have brains, we can talk, we can really air out our views and see the reality of what it is. The US is full of hypocrisy, and we are so done with it. We are so done with it. A lot of people are so done with it. Black people are freaking done with it.
The geopolitical war or disagreement that has been going on since Trump took power is getting worse. And it is getting more even concerning because Jamaica is getting involved. How, you may ask? In the past, US did create what we call a little agreement with Cuba, because if you remember, those my age or older, Cuba was outside of any trade relationship agreements. They were basically exercised because of their communist regime with Fidel Castro and yada yada yada. And this all stemmed from World War II, when Cuba decided to revolution against America. So they did not want to be controlled by America, and because of that, America placed a lot of sanctions. Anybody who talk to them, do business with them, anything like that, their country receive a sanction. And based on that, they were basically excommunicated from CARICOM, from other trade deals, worldwide deals, UN type of situation. No partnership was made with Cuba. So because of that, they were like, that ugly duckling of the family for some time. A couple years back, the United States, then president, opened up to let them in. So because of that, there was an influx of doctors, practitioners in the medical field coming into Jamaica to subsidize for the minute. Remember, back then, when you go to the doctor, any public facility, you're there for a lengthy time. Like, you can't get through. If you have to do a surgery, it takes months upon months. Persons having baby, they will lose their child because of insufficient health practitioners or medical assistants. We were basically short staff of medical practitioners, right? So because of what US did, opening up to Cuba, we the Jamaica society, or the Jamaican government, had the opportunity to get them in our fold. So they were basically exporting their medical practitioners, because as you know, Cuba is ground zero for medical practitioners, whether surgeons, ophthalmologists, PCP, anything where you want know them as. Cuba are ground zero. Them basically provide the best of the best doctors. They crack the code. They have the formula when it comes on to medical medical treatment and all of that, right? So since Trump came into power, Trump has been finding ways and means to take control of the world. Based on what I am seeing, it's either you're in or you're out. It's either you're with him or you're an enemy. That's basically how I see it. So now we're getting a harsh news that because of this, Trump is going to cancel whatever agreement they had with Cuba before. And how this affects Jamaica is that if he decides to excommunicate Cuba again, that means no one or anybody who is in a good relationship with the United States cannot go against the United States or what they say. Which simply means, for example, just to break it down, if you have a best friend and you have an enemy, and your best friend start talking to your enemy, you basically are going to stop talking to your best friend, because that come like some betrayal type of situation. So he's saying if the Jamaican government continues to accept these doctors, he's going to place extreme sanctions on Jamaica, because we're not supposed to be in any relationship with Cuba, and he's canceling whatever agreement he had before. Now, I don't know what Andrew them going to do, what decision. I think they can talk their way out of it, because they're saying that if they pull those doctors outside of our healthcare system, then it's going to have a huge struggle. Currently, people are awaiting surgeries. People are there on their deathbed. People are, right now, I have an ophthalmologist and he's a Cuban. The person who helped me to deliver my babies, that midwife is Cuban, and most of the doctors in our major hospitals are Cuban. If they pull those people at this time, then trust and believe we're going to feel it. It is putting the risk of the life of Jamaican people, to pushing it to the extreme. Now, I was one of them who said, hey, you gotta sit down, relax, and watch the show as America do what them do. But now they're taking action, and it's affecting Jamaican people. If you are a family member, have appointments or anything like that, is something to be worried about, because Trump actions are really affecting us now. They're saying that our medical schools are not providing enough graduates to fuel our healthcare system. And even when they have enough graduates, we're experiencing brain drain, extreme brain drain, because people are leaving the country to go find better. So as the Jamaican government, I think they need to sit down and think about this really well, to see how best they can retain their educated scholars, or even pull back, create some form of incentive to pull back persons who left the country to go be doctors elsewhere. Because if we are depending on the United States for certain things, then it's going to come to a place where they will control we basically. And anything when them say them shit and them say name it, we have got take a spoon, fork, shovel, anything we need to take and name that shit. So let's see what's going to happen. If you know about this, let me know your thoughts on it. Just leave a comment and a like, and let me know what you think. Or if you have any more information, you can definitely drop it in the comments. But I am really stressed out about this. But let's see what's gonna happen. Hopefully the best.
Guys, that is it for me in the video. Let me know what you think about this. I mean, all I can say is whatever they are doing is to pin us against ourselves as people of color, or black people against black people. But it's not working, because whatever they are doing is just making us come closer to, you know, ourselves, and understand that we are going through the same struggles, and that our unity is their threat, which they do not want to see. But it is happening, and they can't do anything about it. So yeah, let me know what you think about this craziness, this madness of Trump and what he's doing, the sanctions and whatever that he's putting in place, whatever that he's signing. It's just ridiculous, guys. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. I'm always posting. I will see you guys in another video. Bye.